Straight ahead on 12 News Weekend, the numbers show the job market is improving, but is it really? We get perspective from local job seekers. Plus, a building in need of an overhaul.
We've been putting Band-Aids upon Band-Aids.
What the future could hold for Golden Valley's Brookview Community Center. And a little later, the pitfalls of public Wi-Fi, a mistake many computer users make. 12 News Weekend starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us this weekend. For the second straight month, Minnesota has posted job gains.
While the job market may not be robust, it is doing okay, particularly in the private sector. Minnesota's unemployment rate now stands at 4.1%. That's an 8-year low. The biggest job gains last month were in hotels and restaurants, followed by gains in the professional, scientific, and technical sector, which includes everything from computer software developers to accountants and lawyers. But as Alexander Renslow reports now, how the jobs picture looks to you depends largely on which side you're sitting.
Okay. Chris Gunn is walking into a crucial part of the job search.
Grab onto that string that you have. Okay, next.
A networking class at the Workforce Center in Brooklyn Park.
The length of string you have, you're going to go ahead and tell us about yourself.
The search for a job can be wound with uncertainties.
My name is Chris Gunn. My job title is I'm a data modeler, data architect.
IT professional Chris Gunn has been searching for almost a year after being laid off at General Mills.
Looking for a job right now is difficult. It's a full-time job.
As you go around,
I network in the morning and I apply for jobs in the afternoon.
Okay, so you'd like for it to be at the North Workforce Center.
After 11 years as an employment counselor, Cynthia Wilson knows the job market is better now for her clients than it was just a year ago.
They are not necessarily accepting jobs that are comparable to where they've been, but they are definitely finding employment.
While Wilson says it's taking her clients on average 6 to 8 months to find a new position, Wilson's caseload has dropped to about 80 job seekers, compared to 140 last year.
You see folks coming through the doors often, but it's as they come in the door, there are folks who are also going back out the door.
I did have a face-to-face interview with United Healthcare.
For Chris Gunn,
I came in second.
The job search is best described as a roller coaster of emotions.
none of this is wasted time.
But he's feeling optimistic thanks to networking groups and job counseling and skills training through the nonprofit Hired at the Workforce Center.
In the last month or so, I've felt closer than I have in the previous 9 months.
He's just hoping to land that job soon.
Alexander Renslow reporting there. One other interesting nugget this week, the labor force participation rate dropped to below 70%, the lowest in 34 years. That's mostly because of the result of retiring baby boomers.
Well, this weekend marks the beginning of the end for Highway 610 construction. State and local dignitaries broke ground Thursday on the last unfinished stretch of 610, the 2.6-mile segment between County Road 81 and I-94 in Maple Grove. The new road will offer a boon to business and relief for drivers.
I can't think of anywhere in the state that there's a transportation project that is going to have more effect on economic growth.
And I think also today we can actually celebrate the fact that we're finally going to be able to help address some of the traffic jams, some of the wasted and lost time, some of the wasted fuel, and some of the safety concerns that folks in this area have genuine and real concerns about.
The 610 connection is scheduled to be complete in about a year and a half.
In our weekend review comes a warning shot from a Golden Valley health insurer. Preferred One says its customers will see an average premium increase of 63%. Industry experts say the rate increases won't be limited just to Preferred One. Agents believe the higher prices are due to market uncertainty over the Affordable Care Act. In Maple Grove, another change is coming to the shops at Arbor Lakes area. Houlihan's restaurant closed this week at the corner of Elm Creek Boulevard and Main Street. A developer plans to tear down the restaurant and construct a new building that would contain mostly retail and possibly a small restaurant. The developer is currently in discussions with potential tenants. And in Plymouth, a housing development plan is in the works for the now closed Bayesian Oaks Golf Course. The nine-hole family-owned course closed last month after 14 years of business. This is the second golf course that is closed in the city. Last year, Elm Creek closed to make room for more housing. The Brookview Community Center in Golden Valley has been a hub of activity for decades.
But the facility is also aging, and as Eric Nelson reports, the city wants something more up to date.
Great history here, of course.
Golden Valley's Brookview Community Center is a golden oldie, but the 96-year-old facility is also crumbling.
We've been putting Band-Aids upon Band-Aids, and you know, the building leaks and it creaks and it reeks.
Because of this, Golden Valley wants a renovated facility or a brand new one. There are countless flaws here at the community center. The building simply doesn't meet code in so many ways. Look at this railing. Not exactly safe. And this sidewalk that used to be flat, check it out now. And that slope means the retaining wall is not safe either. Up on the roof, there is no slope, creating puddles from rainwater that has no place to go. The building's curb appeal is low. There are signs of decay inside and out. Wires are exposed, and even old tree trunks are used for support beams.
I think it's time, absolutely. Again, it's a conversation we've been having for a long time, and it's, again, the building, it is what it is.
Lack of space is also an issue. Brookview is one cramped building.
They're struggling to find space for folks. So we're booked all the times. Our rooms are certainly at capacity, if not over capacity on days. Our golf course is very busy, so we think it's time. We'd be thrilled to have a new community center here.
There are certain things that are not up to code. I certainly don't fit in the back rooms. It's low ceilings, and we don't have enough storage.
Golden Valley is looking into 5 options to replace Brookview, with price tags ranging from $6 to $60 million.
Basically, bring current building up to code, replace current building as it is, demo the old, replace with new, and then 3 designs on 3 locations.
In Golden Valley, I'm Eric Nelson, Channel 12 News.
Well, coming up on 12 News Weekend, they are just about everywhere, public Wi-Fi hotspots.
And up next, a common mistake computer users make. And then later in sports, 2 local girls soccer teams win their first ever section titles.
But first, typical fall weather on Monday, highs in the upper 50s. Well, you can find free public Wi-Fi just about anywhere.
Coffee shops, hotels, even hospitals offer free access, but user beware. There are simple ways to protect yourself and your identity from hotspot hackers.
It's just an extra perk for the customers.
Aside from the extra perk you get from coffee, it's now a given for coffee shops to offer something else to perk customers up.
We've done it from the first day we opened up the store here.
Free Wi-Fi allows Mary Ellen Everhart's customers to make Mountain Mud their office.
We do have many customers here that just come in and do all their work, and that's just great.
For many people, coffee shops like this one in New Hope are an office. Bring your laptop, grab a coffee, and then tap into the free public Wi-Fi. But there are dangers out there in using public networks.
It's a great service, but you do need to be careful.
Dan Hendrickson with the Better Business Bureau says when using public Wi-Fi, the first step is to make sure you are on a legitimate system.
Hackers will actually go into a coffee shop or a business and kind of set up their own fake hotspot or internet access, and they might even name it a coffee shop or give it a name similar to the business you're in. So it's always important to go verify the network is one actually offered by the business.
Then watch where you go online.
You don't want to really do any shopping online at a coffee shop or business, and you want to avoid signing into your bank account just because hackers are very good at what they do, and they may be able to hop onto what you're doing and access that information.
Frequent coffee shop goers like Brent Green.
I come in coffee shops pretty often to use Wi-Fi and just enjoy the atmosphere and enjoy good coffee.
He knows the drill. When he arrived, Brent went up and asked the name and password of the system.
So I know which one is the correct Wi-Fi. There was a dozen or more to choose from.
And Brent also makes sure he has the latest antivirus, anti-spyware software on his computer.
I have a password protector. I use LastPass, lastpass.com, that keeps the password secure.
So he's confident his mobile office is secure.
I use Wi-Fi almost every time when I'm at a coffee shop.
And another thing to keep in mind, if you find a jump drive laying around a public Wi-Fi spot, don't use it. It could be a way for a hacker to get information off of your computer. So, Delane, always be careful. I think that's how it boils down.
I was taking notes throughout the entire thing.
Good deal. Coming up, fantasy sports turned into a career.
We'll meet the so-called godfather of fantasy football. Then the regular season is in the books in high school football. We'll have highlights from Osseo versus Totino Grace. Jay Wilcox is in next. Well, Welcome back, and Jay Wilcox joins us now at sports. So pretty exciting times for Park Center's girls soccer team.
I know a lot of schools or a lot of programs maybe make a habit of going to the state tournament, but when it's that first time, it's definitely exciting and a lot of excitement for their whole school too. Park Center's girls soccer team was aiming for its first state tournament appearance ever this season. The Pirates faced Totino Grace in the Section 5A final. It doesn't take long for the Pirates to get on the board in this one. Abby Arsenault with the perfect corner kick, and Molly Monson will head it in as Park Center scores in the opening minute of this match. Second half, and a good scoring chance for Totino Grace. Adriana Delmoral's shot bangs off the crossbar before the Pirates are able to clear it here. Then a few minutes later, Park Center's Danielle Schaub gets past two defenders and passes to Jill Rosby. And Rosby scores to make it 2-0 Pirates midway through the half. With under 3 minutes to play in the game, the Pirates turn it over, and it leads to an Eagles goal. Chase Miller to Abby Palma, and it's now 2-1. But the Pirates hang on and win, and they are headed to state for the first time. Like Park Center, the Hopkins girls were shooting for their first trip to state. Top seed Wayzata met the Royals in the Section 6AA championship. First half, the crossing pass by Emily Sullivan is headed in by Bailey Hyde for the first goal of the match. Wayzata goes up 1-0. Early in the second half, though, and Hopkins' Ashley Aiken is tripped up in the penalty area, resulting in a penalty kick for the Royals. And Rachel St. Clair puts it away to tie the match at 1 apiece. Although Hopkins dominates the second half, Wayzata gets a good chance to win it in the final 30 seconds, but Ruby Stauber's shot is off the goalpost. This goes to 2 overtimes, and Hopkins' Isabel Olson finds Corbin Boyd alone in front. And Boyd buries it to send Hopkins for the state tournament for the first time in their school history. The Wayzata boys face St. Louis Park for the Section 6AA championship in a game with a lot of offense. Off a long bouncing goal kick, St. Louis Park's Connor Bellingham knocks it to John Kinney, and he lofts it over the keeper and in. That comes just 2:02 into the game. Wayzata answers in a hurry, though. Lewis O'Connor gets it ahead to Ethan Took, and he chips it over the charging goalkeeper. It's 1-1, 3.5 minutes in. And a couple minutes later, Took spins outside on the defender and crosses it to Clay Elmore for the goal. The Trojans go up 2-1, and that's the score at halftime as well. After Park ties it in the second half, Took will cross it to Arthur Perrins, who heads it to Elmore for a header of his own. The Trojans go back in front to stay at 3-2. Elmore adds his third of the game on a direct free kick as Wayzata reaches the state tournament for the first time since 2009 with a 4-2 win. Maple Grove's boys face Moundsview for the 5AA title. Maple Grove with a goal off a corner kick. The ball is deflected over to Daniel Cortez, and he turns and scores. The Crimson lead it 1-0. Moments later, Trevor Gift with a long throw-in, and it eventually leads to another goal. It's knocked around in front a bit before Reed Diamond pushes the ball to Cortez, and he drills a perfectly placed shot into the upper corner for a 2-0 Crimson lead on a night where they play very well. Maple Grove looking for more. Garrett Maupin to Hoof. Over to Ryan DuBois, and he's denied on a close-in chance, but the Crimson lead it still 2-0 at the half. Second half, and Maupin's free kick from the corner hits the near side goalpost and bounces in front. In a big bunch of bodies, Diamond will get his foot on it to put it away for a 3-0 Maple Grove lead, and they are on their way to a win. Maple Grove celebrates the Section 5 title with a 3-0 win. Well, for the third season in a row, Osseo and Totino Grace met in the regular season football finale with a conference title on the line. The Orioles not wanting to share the West Division title in the Northwest Suburban. It's 3-3 when Justin Ekior takes the handoff and runs into trouble on the right side, so he heads the other way. A couple of key blocks help Ekior to the end zone. It's 9-3 Osseo at halftime. Grace, though, comes back strong after halftime. Kez Flomo takes the handoff and gets in. He rushes for over 200 yards on the night. It's 10-9 Grace. Osseo comes right back, though, and check out this great catch. Malik Gaylord's pass hauled in by a diving DeMario Armstrong. It sets up a touchdown, and Osseo leads 17-10 through 3. But it's mostly Totino Grace from there. The Eagles line with a huge hole for Flomo, and he ties it up at 17. And then Lance Bennick scores on a quarterback keeper to make it 31-17. Totino Grace wins 31-24, so Grace, Osseo, and Maple Grove share the conference title. Football playoffs get started Tuesday for some of the local teams. The big schools like those three will be playing Friday night of next week.
All right. Thanks, Jay.
You bet.
Still ahead, our interview with the Plymouth man many sports fans know as Charch.
He's made a living off fantasy football. His secrets to fantasy success when we come back.
Welcome back. Fantasy football has become almost as popular as the real thing.
A Plymouth man has made a living out of it. We had a chance to catch up with the so-called godfather of fantasy football.
The destination is Buffalo Wild Wings in Bristol. This is the Friday football feast.
There isn't exactly overwhelming optimism for the Vikings this year.
You still got to root for them until they're mathematically out. You never know what's going to happen.
I think they'll be able to win a few games later in the year and, end up around that 500 mark.
The guy has no interest in breaking a tackle.
But thanks to fantasy football,
He is so much like Marshawn Lynch.
the fans stay as interested in the NFL as ever.
If the Vikings are out of it, I'm still rooting for my fantasy team. It gives me another reason to be engaged.
Fantasy football at least gives you something to root for. You root for a player, you have some reason to watch.
For these fans, fantasy football is a game that gives them a chance to win a little money.
But you know what? Elite players get through that.
Yet for radio personality and Plymouth resident Paul Charchian, that game is a way of life.
Fantasy football's been great to me. I made a career out of fantasy football. It's almost a dream come true.
Charchian says 41 million people play fantasy sports in North America. He successfully tapped into that marketplace by simplifying the payment process.
The company that I've got in Plymouth, League Safe, is PayPal for fantasy sports. We simplify the entry fees associated with fantasy sports and let everybody pay online.
So Percy, they have charges 100% right.
On top of that, he hosts the longest running fantasy sports radio show.
And we're very proud of the show. We try to help people win their league with better information. We do a lot of the digging and then try to give people all that kind of advantages, figure out who to bench and who to start on a given Sunday, yeah.
I placed in every league last year, and I would say it was mostly on the advice of the players that he suggested.
Charchian says he does all of the digging on players that other people don't have the time to do, and so far, it's served him well.
I'm very grateful that it's a pastime that so many people love playing, and I've been able to put myself in a position to make a living doing it.
According to the Fantasy Sports Trade Association, North America's 41 million fantasy participants spend about $467 a year playing fantasy sports. I'm not one of them.
You're not. I figured you were.
I don't want to have these weird allegiances where I'm rooting for the Packers or something.
See you later, everybody.
Bye.